Oi mates, what's up? When you take a look at human history, you will see one thing and one thing only: war. War has gotten a long way. There were wars like World War II that aimed to eliminate unfair regimes and save the lives of oppressed people. There were wars like the Franco-Prussian War that aimed to unite nations and form a bond. There were wars about buckets and cake as well.
What?
Wait, what? Can you repeat that? Well, as sad as it is, those two actually aren't clickbait. At first, we will have a look on the war about cake, the pastry war, or Guerra de los Pasteles. This war was from 1838 to 1839. The war was fought between France and Mexico. Over, well, cake. Didn't you listen? Following Mexico's independence from Spain in 1821, the nation suffered through decades of political turmoil, coups, and civil unrest. French citizens in Mexico frequently had their properties damaged or looted during those disturbances. The Mexican government, however, refused to pay compensation for those damages. A French pastry chef called Monsieur Remontel, I'm not sorry if I pronounced that wrong, whose shop in Tacubaya was damaged and looted by drunken Mexican officers in 1828. He then filed a complaint together with the French government, demanding 60,000 pesos, which is about 1.8 million US in modern money. By the way, that is an outrageous amount of money for a pastry shop. A French pastry shop, that is. Anyway, together with most other French complaints, the total ended up being about 600,000 Mexican pesos, which is about 18 million US today. Well, the French King Louis Philippe used these complaints as a pretext to force Mexico to pay their debt. Obviously, Mexico declined payment once again, which led to France sending a powerful fleet of ships to Mexico. Under Rear Admiral Charles Baudin, the French fleet naval blockaded Mexican ports on the Mexican Gulf. For Americans, that's the area right here. After the French took the fort of San Juan de Ulua and the city of Veracruz, the Mexicans officially declared war on France. After some fighting, the two powers got into a peace deal mediated by the British. As a result of the war, Mexico was forced to pay 600,000 pesos, which only further put them into debt. I'm sure you know football, the sport where two teams try to shoot a ball into each other's goals. The sport that is called soccer in the United States. Well, would it surprise you if I told you that there has been a war over football? In 1996, El Salvador and Honduras had a little migration problem. El Salvador was the most densely populated state in all of Central America. Hundreds of thousands of El Salvadorians migrated to Honduras, often illegally occupying the land. In the late 1960s, Honduras started a land reform. That reform was primarily aimed at those illegal settlers from El Salvador. You can imagine that El Salvador did not like those changes one bit. Then, during the 1970s, FIFA qualifying matches, the two nations played against one another. But because of the match, angry people from both sides attacked each other. And those attacks did even end up in death. After El Salvador won the football match, anti-Salvadorian violence in Honduras got to an all-time high, which led to mass expulsion and brutal treatment of El Salvadorians within Honduras. The following refugee crisis overwhelmed El Salvador, which led to them invading Honduras. The war lasted only 4 days, or 100 hours, which by the way gave the war the nickname 100 Days War, but we will refer to it as the Football War. El Salvador's army invaded, initially advancing deep into Honduran territory. Both sides relied on highly obsolete aircraft for their air battles, like literally World War II airplanes. The Organization of American States, which is a regional forum for politics and cooperation between its member states that also tries promoting human rights, democracy, and economic development, quickly intervened, negotiating a ceasefire on July 18th. El Salvador withdrew its troops in early August. The war was devastating. Over 2,000 people, most of which were civilians, were killed. And the fundamental problems, like the refugee crisis and unequal land distribution, were not solved.
Oh man.
The War of the Oaken Bucket, or Guerra della Secchia Rapita. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong, I'm not Italian. This one is funny. It happened in 1325. This conflict between the northern Italian city-states of Modena and Bologna is the perfect example of a war fought over trivial pride, and nothing else. Tensions, raid and border skirmishes between the two were common. The famous story holds that Modenese soldiers infiltrated Bologna and stole a simple wooden bucket from a public well as an act of petty defiance and public humiliation. Bologna, outraged by the insult to its honor, demanded the return of the worthless bucket. Modena refused, thus starting the war. Historians confirm that while the bucket exists, and even still being kept as a trophy, it was likely taken after the battle as a symbol of victory. But it's not the sole cause of the war. The real trigger was Modena's capture of the strategic Bolognese castle, which I'm not brave enough to try to pronounce, shortly before the main battle. Bologna mustered a huge army of approximately 32,000 Guelph soldiers. Modena could only field about 7,000 ones. Despite being outnumbered almost 5 to 1, the Modenese forces decisively routed the Bolognese. Wait, what? Oh right, in the Battle of Sapolino on November 15th, 1325, as a result, around 2,000 men were killed or wounded. The Modenese chased the defeated Bolognese right to their city gates and, in a final act of mockery, either secured the initial bucket or stole a second one. So, either way, one side lost the bucket and the other one got it back. Oh boy, this one's my favorite. You know Australia, right? The ginormous island or small continent, depending on who you ask, from all the way down there. Vastly known as the land down under. If you have no idea what Australia is, you can think of it as a giant desert populated with spiders the size of Minecraft spiders and dinosaurs and basically a lot of other animals that are trying to kill you in any way imaginable. And basically everyone there is either a descendant of a British criminal or a kangaroo in disguise. So, now that you are familiar with the real-life equivalent of the Nether, let me tell you about the Australian Civil War. The war was fought between the Australian military and the indigenous people. Those people not being people, but the real-life equivalent to man-eating baby dragons. Introducing the emu. The second biggest bird in the entire world, getting as big as 2 meters. Though it is about 40 kilos heavy and thus too heavy to fly. But it can do something way worse. It can run fast. And let me tell you, you do not want a 2-meter roadrunner speeding towards you trying to kill you. So, how did this conflict erupt? It is unlike all other wars in this video because it's not human against human, but rather man against beast. See, in 1932, the farmers in Western Australia wanted to grow wheat because humans like wheat. They can make bread and stuff with wheat. You know who else likes wheat though? Emus. So when the emus migrated north, the farmers got attacked by an army of about 20,000 of them. Those armies ran through the defenses like it was nothing and devoured the wheat. The farmers did try to resist though. They shot everything they had at the emus, but shooting an emu with a rifle has about the same effect as hitting a tank with a battle axe. So the farmers that only wanted to see those emus dead went to the government and asked for help. The government did what had to be done and declared emus an enemy of the Australian state. Then it deployed the entire 7th Heavily Artillery Division down there to fight the emus. They were heavily armed and were ordered for one thing: to kill everything with feathers. The only problem with that was that when they opened fire, emus immediately ran outside the range of the gun. After the battle, only 12 emus were dead, and the army had to retreat. Weeks later, they came back with the guns crafted onto their trucks to follow the emus when they ran away. Seems like it would work if you ask me, but I'm no military strategist. But then, the most Australian thing ever happened. The birds learned. It may not seem dangerous, but it is. They started leaving scouting birds around their current spot to warn them of human attacks early. So the military had basically no way of fighting the emus effectively. Even when they caught up to the emus, they found out that emus are pretty much invincible. Because the emus have many feathers, so there were a lot of places to shoot that did not damage the bird at all. After some months and a ginormous amount of ammo being effectively wasted, the Australian military managed to kill about 1,000 emus. Sounds good, right? I mean, they killed about 5% of all of them. But since the emus reproduced and keeping these attacks going was a pretty dang expensive thing, the government just built a little fence and called it solved. Well, that's Australia in a nutshell for you. But that's it for today, folks. If you liked the video, please subscribe. It would really mean a lot to me. Have a nice day!